Bye.
Michael, you're on WSJS. Good morning.
Good morning, Mike. How you doing?
Hey, how are you?
Fine, thank you. I had a question. I had a recent experience with a credit card company. Called my house on a Saturday. I wasn't home, and my spouse answered. And the credit card company was after a monthly minimum payment. And what the representative did is they attempted to ask my spouse, who is not a card holder, not listed as a card holder on that credit card agreement. I'm the only one. But they attempted to extract payment on the credit card from her, my spouse. And again, she is not listed in any way, shape, or form on that agreement. I wanted to ask you, can they legally do that? Can they attempt to extract payment from someone that is not on the credit card agreement, even though it's your spouse?
My guess is they can ask. I mean, if they have the right to call your home, unless you've, under most circumstances. But they can ask. It sounds rather unconventional, but I'm sure that's done with some regularity. I think what I would do is I would call the Attorney General's office in Raleigh, their Consumer Affairs Division, and ask them about that. I'm not aware of any legal rule that says they can't ask anybody who answers the phone about that, but maybe there's a rule on that. But I'm not aware of any that says you can't ask somebody that answers the phone.
It just seems odd to me that since I'm the only card holder.
Right. I agree. I agree with you totally. Yeah. And maybe the way they sort of backdoor that is whether if you're married and, that your spouse has been using the card, which is often the case. Not. Okay.
No, she's not listed. I do not have a second card.
Right.
She would have no access to that account. I'm alive. I'm not dead. I'm not divorced.
Right.
So she's not responsible technically for that kind of a debt. So I just do not know how they have the ability to extract payment from somebody who's not a card holder.
I think what I would do then is call them up and tell them that and pay that card off and cancel the card, get a new person. But a lot of times too that in a family that the money, I'm just sort of following the logical line here, that the money flows into the family unit and they get the benefit of it, even though they may not be the one who charged on it. But again, I'm not aware of any rule that says they can't do that. It does seem a little odd, but I'd call the AG's office. But I believe I'd let my voice be heard on that, pay it off, and get another credit card or cancel that one.
Exactly. Thank you for your help.
All right. Good luck to you.
Thanks for calling, Michael. 777-1600, 777-1600. Lots of calls this morning. Good subjects, too.
I should have thought about mentioning, I hope he's still listening, and if he is, Consumer Credit Counseling Service may know the answer to that, and that number is 896-1191, 896-1191. I'm confident they know more about that than I do. Of course, that's sort of damning with faint praise that they would know more than I do about something. But you might, if Michael is still, I'm going to add his name, Michael. If you're still listening, call Consumer Credit Counseling Service. They may know the answer to that question.
We got about 30 seconds left before we go to break, so we'll if you have a call, give us a call back after probably 9:35, so you won't have to hold on so long. We'll be happy to take your calls and get some more in.
Let me mention that you can go to our website, and we have a piece that you can download that's got a lot of these numbers and such. If you go to wellsjenkins.com, that's a real helpful piece.
All right. wellsjenkins.com, always a good website to go to. We're going to go to the Wall Street Journal report here in just a couple of seconds. After that, the latest from the WSJS News Center, and we'll be back with more with You and the Law with Mike Wells in just a few minutes. Stay with us. You're listening to the Triad's News Radio, AM 600, 1200 WSJS. 9:37 on the Triad Live and Local. Thanks for being with us this morning. Mike Wells is here. If you have a question, 777-1600, 777-1600. We will be more than happy to see if we can help you out this morning. Mr. Wells is here right now.
As we speak, that's right. So I mentioned about when we had the break about a piece that we have on our website at wellsjenkins.com that is a compilation of various numbers, the Attorney General, the Consumer Credit Counseling Service, the lawyer referral program that we often refer to, by which you can get a 30-minute conference for no more than $30 from a lawyer in the area in which you are living. And so, anyway, it's a good compilation. If you're not, if if you don't have access to the internet, if you'll call our office at 725-2900, we'll send it to you. It's a front and back sheet, and we'll do that as a courtesy of you and the law. Okay,
let's talk to Jim. Jim, you're on WSJS. Good morning.
Good morning. Mike, I just have a question. My parents have given 2 years of tax information to an accountant, and they can't get an answer back. The accountant won't call them, won't answer the phone. We've been by the house a couple of times. What would you suggest would be the best thing to do about just all we want to do is just get their tax information back so we can give it to another accountant, and I can just hang up and listen to it on the phone.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for calling, Jim.
Thank you.
What I would do is I would call the guy and just say, you're going to get another accountant if you don't. We need this information. If you don't get it, then you're going to call the CPA board, whatever they call that. For lawyers, it's the state bar. I don't know what it is for the.
There is a governing board for CPAs. Though,
I'm sure. I know there is. I just don't know the name of it. But when you get your new accountant, if you have one designated or picked out, you might get them to see if they'll call. Get them to call first is what I would do. So when whoever the new guy is, they call and say, hey, we really need to get these records. And if that doesn't work, then I would call them and tell them you're calling the licensing authority. Because those records belong to the client, they don't belong to the accountant, and so you have every right to get it back. And if you don't, it's pretty serious business.
Tom, you're on WSJS with Mike Wells. Good morning.
Thank you for taking my call, Mr. Wells. A vehicle, a big truck, load shifted and turned over in my yard. Anyway, it damaged a big tree, and the party responsible said not to get into the police wrote up a report and told me that she didn't want to have the insurance company take care of the tree, so they want to take care of it privately. But is there a time limit on that? Because they've been dragging their feet, and then I sent an estimate to them, and they haven't gotten back. And I don't know if they're trying to wait till the time expires and then they won't be responsible. Is that possible?
How long ago did that happen?
Happened. This is the 5th week.
Okay. Well, normally if somebody does something negligent, they're at fault, then you have 3 years. So this was in Winston-Salem of South County?
Yes, it's in the city.
In North Carolina. All right. So you have 3 years, so I don't see any big time problem. But I'd call them up and just say, look, if they can't get back to you by a certain date, then you've gotten information on the police report about what the insurance company is, right?
Yes, sir.
And tell them if they don't get to you by such date, you're calling up the insurance company.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Wells.
All right. Good luck to you.
Thanks for calling, Tom. 777-1600, 777-1600. And just another example of sometimes people just need a little prodding.
Sometimes they need a little prodding. That's right. And, you just have to figure out, well, what's the next step that brings a little pressure to bear on folks in a good way. Of course, almost all of these calls, people don't really need a lawyer to do that. That's sort of sometimes adds fuel to the fire, but sometimes that's what you have to do. But generally, it's to try to figure out a way to get some leverage from another party or some event or something that's going to get them going. And oftentimes, of course, the problem is not that the companies they're deadbeats or they're trying to squirrel out of something. Maybe they are, but a lot of times it's just sort of benign neglect. So if you can just sort of be a little more assertive and then try to turn up the flame a little bit by saying you're going to call this, you're going to do that, oftentimes that will help bring some focus and get something done.
Yes, good idea. What else you got over there on your sheet of many thoughts this morning?
Well, we're going to be starting up our seminars in August, and we don't have the dates lined up fully here, but it'll be in late August, and then we're going to be going to Clemens and Louisville. We talked about that last year, had it lined up, and then for whatever reason that got canceled, but we will be going to the Clemens Library and to the new Louisville Library in August and September. And then, of course, we'll be in Renault Library a couple of times, too, and then out to Kernersville, too. So I don't think we have those dates and times on our website yet, but ultimately they will be at wellsjenkins.com. But as you have questions, you can call us at 725-2900, and we'll let you know when we finally get our plans squared away. So we look forward to being to the great state of Clemens and the great state of Louisville and Kernersville, as we always do, and, of course, at Renault later on this year.